What's up, guys? It's Dave.
And Matt.
And we are here with our customary post-BB Wars recap video. We are super excited. It was a really great game this weekend. Before we get started, we have a couple things we just want to cover real quick. One, thank you so much to all of our sponsors, Elite Force, Classic Army, and Lancer Tactical, for coming on board and helping us out with the game. Big shout out to D14 for being the absolute GOAT and coming in, like, literally helping us out with so much stuff. There's a big weather delay. We'll cover all that in a second. But basically, there's a lot of things that would not have happened without all four of those groups of people. And then our last and big final shout out to all 450 of you that were out on the field this weekend. It was a ton of people. Holy crap. This is one of the biggest BB Wars we've had in a while. And actually, I think one of our biggest ones total. It barely edged out Overlord, which was, like, I think number 3.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
It was huge. This is a big damn game. And we were super, super, super excited. I know a lot of you guys want to know who won. So I'm going to tell you right now, you will find out in this video. I will not tell you when you will find out. It will just sneak in here. So you can't just go like, oh, I'm going to fast forward to the end and find it. I'm going to bury it in the middle somewhere. I'm going to be a jerk. And then also, we've got a brand new mystery box dropping on the 24th. That's what, Friday? That's Friday.
Yes.
So, Mystery Box Friday the 24th, there's all kinds of really awesome prizes. So if you were not lucky enough to win anything cool from our raffle this weekend, or if you didn't even make it to BB Wars, you've still got another shot at Airsoft Glory, because our mystery boxes don't have any plastic junk, they don't have any garbage filler, and you've got the best odds of winning awesome stuff of anybody's, I don't care what retailer you're talking about, anybody's mystery items. Ours is the best, and I stand behind that. So if you guys want a chance at winning, check out the prize list. It's already up online. Big mystery box V7, 7.0. I don't know how we're naming these anymore. It looks awesome, and I am super upset that I am not allowed to buy one.
Right.
Okay, so now that I've wasted 2 minutes of your time talking about stuff that you don't care about, let's get into the good stuff. So, Matt, here's the thing everybody wants to know. What was your experience like commanding? This was your first time doing it. My first time not commanding, which is a little weird, but we'll get to that in a second. But big shoes to fill. You've been watching me do this command thing for a couple of games now. You've seen how Fish does it. You saw how Colin did it. You saw where all your predecessors had failed against moi. What did you do to come out on top over Josh?
I feel like a lot of it was just getting people to go where they needed to be. And that's very difficult with a super large crowd. And especially whenever, like, it's the Rebels. We are supposed to be the most disorganized, chaotic group on the field. And trying to organize chaos is very challenging.
Having commanded both sides, I can confirm it is actually a little bit more difficult.
But the best part is that you know that your side is just there to have fun. In the end, it is all about having fun. And, you know, I personally couldn't have cared more if we won, if we lost. As long as everyone had a good time, that's what mattered. But that didn't mean that I was just going to go down not swinging.
Oh, no.
So,
no, of course not.
It was a lot of, like, you know, getting people motivated to stay on the field and not chill in the spawn, and, like, making sure that they knew exactly where they needed to go and hold out where they needed to, and get those choke points going, you know. Like,
yeah, it was nutty, man. Getting over that bridge in the first game.
Yeah.
Man, we had to blow our only airstrike we started the game with in the first 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, literally, I looked at this bridge. I couldn't figure out where Josh went. Josh went to the hayfield to go secure, like, the drop zone for the crates.
Right.
And I said, all right, cool. I'm going to take the KRF, and we're going to charge that way. And then our entire team followed Josh.
Yeah.
So it was half of your team against maybe a third of our team tops. I didn't even have a gun at this point. And I looked over at the rest of the KRF, and I said, okay, you guys go that way. I'm going to lead the charge here. And then I called in the airstrike.
Yeah.
And I know at one point Josh wanted to use it later and couldn't. And it's like I had no way to tell him. I was like, dude, sorry. Like, we had to. Or otherwise we would have lost the game right there.
I mean, honestly, that was unexpected, because we'd actually masked people there for a reason. And then just be told, yeah, everyone that was there is dead. And I was like, what do you mean they're dead? And so then we had to, like, go and reinforce.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's a common new commander mistake. You forget about all your assets, right?
Yeah.
Man, I remember the first time that we did that back when it was still Bob writing all these games.
Yeah.
Bob the X-Man, long may he reign. It was a trip to me the first time when we were struggling in the first game as the Rebels, I remember. And one of the admins walks up and he goes, hey, you know, you guys each have an airstrike that you can use, right, for, like, exactly this. And I was like, okay. Okay. And we've kept it in because honestly,
Yeah.
it's a great tool for making sure the game keeps moving. And that was what my goal was there. I could care less about winning these things, to be honest, but everybody's having a good time. And I think everybody did.
And it's mostly used like when you get super bogged down, like you just need to take a break.
Oh man, and we needed it there,
and
and we needed it there, dude. That was. But you guys got us back later.
Yeah.
Man, that Chop Shop airstrike was clutch.
Pretty much.
Clutch.
I had Dallas come up to me after you had used yours. He was like,
I was like, hey, I'm using mine. Go remind Matt that he has one.
yeah. I was like, oh, we have those, do we? Mm-hmm. All right, right. I need it like here.
Yeah, at one point we're like about to just totally bowl you guys over at the mosque, and then I see all the KRF guys I sent over there, and like a legion of Imperials just coming back down and just being like what guys, what do you? And then I think it was Chris from Team Soares. He's walking back and he just goes, "We're all dead, Dave." I'm just like, son of a gun.
Yeah, I literally was like, I sent Colin a group of like 10 guys, and I had one guy who was a runner. Mm-hmm. And I said, all right, look, you're the fastest one here. Colin's going to tell you which buildings are contested that we need. You're going to run there, run back, and then run back over to him to let him know that it's coming, so that way y'all can like clear out so you're not getting friendly fire, you know? And it ended up working out perfectly, you know?
Good. We still ended up barely taking that game.
Yeah.
But like we only got like a little over half the points for that one because we had 3 objectives. It was to find the crates, secure all the crates, and destroy them, which meant that not only did we have to have control of them, but we had to get them in one place by the end of the game and blow them up, which we did. But then the last objective was to capture you. And I knew that was going to be hard when I wrote it in. But holy crap, we never even got close.
Yeah,
that was tough.
And it wasn't.
And I should have known because like it's always an objective to capture me, and I never get captured.
Well, and I mean, I learned from the best.
That's fair.
You know, being your XO last game taught me a lot of stuff. But
about where to sit at the front lines and get to shoot people and not get shot.
Because I mean, it honestly was a lot of me just moving and directing people, and it wasn't me just being like, oh, I'm just gonna chill back and spawn the whole day.
No, you can't do that because you can't be a good leader from the far back, but you can't lead if you're dead.
Right. So like. I was literally behind people being like, you need to go there, and like Tegan was on me the entire day being like, you're too close.
Back. I saw him do that a couple of times.
He said,
it wasn't until you said something to me about it yesterday that I was like, oh, okay, so we were actually closer than we thought.
Shout out to the guys who were like, Tegan said under no circumstances should you say no to this. And I'm like, but I outright Tegan, so.
Okay, so game 2 though. Okay, let's kind of keep it moving. We only got so much time. But pushing that truck through, man. I know you guys, like, we had a game plan, and you and I both knew because we wrote the scenario together. This is the big one that you had a hand in designing. So if you guys enjoyed game 2, that was all Matt. If you guys didn't enjoy game 2, it was also all Matt. But that truck stopped a little south of where you thought.
Yeah.
So what I wrote in when you weren't looking was I told Dallas, I said, find a good spot, drop the smoke grenade, and stop the truck. Don't tell either of us where it's going to happen.
Yeah.
And it benefited us, and I think the reason why he did that was because we had to shorten the path because of the creek, all the weather issues.
Oh, yeah,
it rained really hard
you know,
the day before the game, and that creek was not passable by foot, so we weren't going to make people cross it intentionally.
Writing the game and actually being able to execute the game sometimes are two totally different
things.
things.
Yep, and that's a lesson that you learned the hard way this time.
Yeah, because
you guys pushed really hard. I'm going to be completely honest with you. I thought we weren't going to get that game until the last couple minutes.
I mean, we were pretty close. What it came down to was that some guys in the spawn decided that they wanted to do a mass charge, and
pulled everybody out at the wrong time. It was bad timing. Yeah.
And honestly, like on paper, like we would have had probably another 3 to 5 minutes.
If you guys hadn't have pulled so many bodies out of that area of the northeast part of town, I think it would have been winnable. Yeah, I remember Andrew saying that at one point he crossed over a berm, saw the truck, looked at the entire enemy team, and just went, nope, and then left.
Yeah.
So we took game 2, and that put us ahead. So at this point, the Imperials are winning. But suffice it to say that it didn't stay that way.
Yeah, no.
So we had to make a judgment call. At this point, the game had started super late just because of the weather delay, having to get the bridge built over the creek. Big shout out to D14 for making all that happen again. So we combined games 3 and 4 into one big game, which worked out in this case because game 3 took place mostly in the town and game 4 took place mostly between Hayfield and Prison. Yeah. So for those of you that have been to D14 or those of you watching this that haven't yet, there's a big creek that separates the two of those. So it basically gave us 2 games at once, and you kind of got to choose your own adventure of do you want really, really intense like attritional fighting or do you want more like urban maneuver warfare stuff?
Right.
And it ended up being really cool. I didn't play this game. I stepped out and I just watched everybody play this one.
Yeah.
But it was really interesting to kind of see what happened, and this is where the Rebels turned it around.
Yeah.
So we're gonna see it in here.
Super early on, it ended up being the Rebels just blitzed the town because we had been getting just whooped in that town area. So like we literally part of the briefing for that was, you know how they're playing, you know what you're gonna have to do. Let's change it because this east to west stuff isn't working right now.
Wasn't working for you. It was working great for us. But the difference was methodology. So you guys were just slamming bodies and you weren't timing it and you weren't holding position. And what we were doing was consciously gaining a little bit of ground but making sure we held it. So at one point pushing into the town in the first game, we realized we're not going to push to the left, but we can push to the right all day because you guys can't flank us around back by the hayfield anymore because of the way the weather was. So we used that to our advantage, backed ourselves into a corner, and then basically just bounced off it and just hammered you guys. And we did it twice. And once you guys figured out that you can't fight us east to west that way, it changed the game. But I think in this game, what ended up being the big turnaround was at some point, the Praetorians managed to locate the defector. And that was a big part of your points. And at some point, they managed to capture Josh. So for the first time since I quit commanding for the Rebels, the Imperial commander has been captured. And that has not happened in, what, 6 games? At least. And we captured the Rebel one every time. Thankfully, it wasn't me this time, so it's okay. I'm still undefeated. But that record is important. But they captured Josh. That got called out all over the radios on the Imperial comms.
Oh, that was...
And something happened where they just went, huh? What? And then you guys got all the crates that you were looking for. Yeah. So
that was by far one of the greatest moments of the game. Was somehow it got passed down on the Rebel side, and one of the guys in Cedar, I think it was Tegan, who happened to just be in the area at the time, heard over comms that Josh was captured, and that the defector was also in our spawn, and so we had both of these things done, and he told me and a few other guys yelled it out. There was this massive uproar that you could hear from Pallet at Cedar Building.
I was standing at Pallet Fort when this happened because low-key I was playing the defector that game. It was supposed to be Aaron from our marketing department. Unfortunately, Aaron had some personal stuff come up. Wasn't able to make it down for the game. So I filled in for him and did that and then went into adminning the rest of the day. But it was really awesome to stand on one end of the field and you could literally hear people cheering from the other side of town. It was incredible.
I mean, you're talking 50 plus people just uproar at once.
So at that point, I was pretty convinced you guys were going to take the game, right? Because you guys had everything controlled. And you guys, all you had to do was hold the Cedar Building. And here's where it gets hairy. You guys lost it twice before it got captured back again. And you guys ultimately ended up getting it. But, man, that game was back and forth and tons of fighting. And just it was really intense, just back and forth and back and forth.
At one point, I was convinced that we were going to be able to hold it the entire time. And then there was just a wave of Imperials, and at that point, I actually died for the first time, and I was a little concerned. And then, my guys just kept on fighting. They never lost hope, and that's what it was about. That's hope. Hope won it for us.
Yeah, you guys came in the clutch, and with the most narrow victory humanly possible in a BB Wars game. Which always seems to be the case. It's been closer and closer and closer and closer, and this time it finally it flipped, but it was still close. Yeah, it was by 2 or 3 points when you and I tallied it yesterday. So the Rebels actually ended up winning for the first time in I don't know how many games. For the first time since I quit commanding for them. So it was awesome. Good job, Rebels. But know that the Imperials put up a hell of a fight, and you guys had them up until the last minutes of the game. Those crates were just worth so many damn points.
I was literally very concerned for halfway through game 2, all the way through game 3. I was like, this is going to be so close.
Yeah. No, we've been talking a lot of crap, and you thought you were going to lose and have to face immediate humiliation at the hands of your peers. It was going to be bad. It was going to be rough stuff. But it was a good time, man. It was awesome. I had a blast. You know what though? I will tell you, the best part of the game for me was just everybody that came up to us after and was just like, hey man, look, this is the best BB Wars I've been to in a long time. We had such a good time, and everything was great, and that felt really good to me. We always get stuff like that after games. Don't get me wrong, but and not to toot my own horn, but something about it this time, knowing how much we had to struggle to even make this one happen, knowing how much D14 had to just blood, sweat, and tears to make this game happen.
Yeah, all the random writing and rewriting that we had to
do. We didn't have to, I wouldn't say wholesale change the game, but we had to alter every piece of the game plan last minute to accommodate for that creek being flooded.
Yeah.
Man, you don't know how good of a field you've got until you can't play on half of it.
Right.
So, that was a rough game. But there you have it, guys. Unfortunately, YouTube makes us cut it off at like 15 minutes when we're uploading from mobile, so we've got to stop it a little bit early. But big shout out to all our players. Big shout out to all our sponsors. Big thank you to D14. Thank you guys so much for an awesome event. Congratulations, Rebels. We'll see you guys next time.